And here we are at Riskin 2026 and I have the pleasure to be with Vilma Nasteckiene. Did I say it correctly?
Yes,
And you're from?
I'm from Lithuania, Vilnius, but currently living in Greece.
Vilma, you're from Holistic Business Risk. What exactly do you do?
Very good question. What comes in your mind when you hear about new regulation?
Hustle.
Hustle, yeah. We should write new procedure. We should do something about it.
Yeah.
So holistic business risk means that you do not need to do nothing about it.
So we don't care about regulation?
No, you care about regulation, but first of all, you have to think, what is this regulation about? Do I understand what they fear, what it comes from? Usually behind regulations there is some fear, some risk events. You most probably remember the financial crisis of 2008.
Oh, yeah, I do, yeah.
When banking lost all charm and got overregulated. Why? Because regulators were scared. They were expecting risk behavior, risk culture, and we all know what we got. What this regulation comes from, one thing, and another thing, what we are doing now in our business about it. Are we doing the same as regulator fears? So then we have to change. Or maybe we're doing something differently that we manage those kind of dangers that regulator is scared. So if we understand what we are doing, what practice, what habits, what our competencies and skills brought us to the point where we are now, and we're thinking that this regulation is not about us. Convert this practice to visible artifact that you can show to regulator. In more simple words, what do I mean? Professionals and specialists, they do a lot of great things. They plan, they adjust, they make decisions, they implement those decisions, they understand how context is changing and make priorities, but they do not call it risk management. So the only thing when you hear about new regulation, you have to think what you do already and how you can show this and make more sustainable and more trustworthy.
But isn't that what most risk managers would do?
First of all, they save time. They do not need to create procedures that collect dust in the drawers. So this is key thing, because if they look around, it is more motivating thing rather than write procedures. But another thing, even more important, they will avoid pushback from their colleagues. Because if I'm planning my work and I'm following and I'm listening to signals and making decisions, and risk manager comes and says, okay, this is about business, but now you should do the same about risk. And you cannot plan business and risk at the same time. But we have business planning procedure, now we have risk planning procedure. It sounds ridiculous, but in real life, very often we see it like this.
So think about why these regulations take place. That would already bring you to a very important first step, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Vilma.
You're most welcome.